yourself.
There's a lot of hitting going on.
Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself.
Oh, did you have siblings too?
I did, but we never did that thing because they just hit me.
Yeah,
Oh
okay.
yeah, we are recording shit.
Yeah, right. Well, my brother also did the mediator thing every now and again. Like, why? Stop hitting yourself.
Oh,
I mean, I was
negotiate.
the oldest sibling, so I'm fine.
How are your younger siblings though?
Well, I mean, I've seen younger siblings that take control.
Oh.
Fair enough. Like, there are some very interesting, I don't know, relationship dynamics that go on in siblings, and some siblings just, even if they're younger.
I mean, younger
Actually go
siblings
at
just
it.
have the power of calling for mother and father.
I've seen older siblings do exactly that as well.
No, younger siblings are worse.
Just saying.
Are you younger
Takes all
siblings?
kinds. I'm younger.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And definitely, that was my first line of defense. Like, if mom wasn't there, I didn't know what to do.
I was 7 years younger than my next older brother, so I literally had nothing else.
That hurts.
Like when there's in the baseball, take your 2-year-old brother, like, show him.
There's a funny story about my siblings and me in the baseball bat.
Okay.
It doesn't
We have an open ear for you.
It doesn't
I feel
sound
like you're in a
funny.
therapy session.
Do you know these big like physical therapy balls that you sit on and they're bouncy?
Yeah, sure.
He threw one of those at me, and I think it was a softball bat actually, and I thought it would be funny to hit it while it was flying at me. And you know, you slurred always a bit. Yeah, he was very worried at that point.
Bouncy. Yeah, okay. That doesn't sound like fun at all.
No, funny looking back.
Everything's funny looking back. I mean, my brother shot,
Oh, I
shot me in
wouldn't
the
say
neck.
that.
It's not,
Brian.
everything is not funny looking back.
Yeah, I don't know.
There are
if you
things that are not
survived it,
funny looking back.
I'm not going to take the bait. I really am not. There are so many things going through my mind. No, but my brother shot me with a BB gun. It was one of those CO2 canister powered BB guns. So
Oh,
it's
those
like-
are good.
Oh, I have one of those.
Yeah, and it, like,
Are those legal in Germany?
Yes.
I had a BB lodged in my neck for the longest time because he shot me almost point blank with this stupid thing.
In the neck.
In the neck.
Well,
I mean, he was going for the
Kill
gusto. He wanted to kill me, I think, almost as soon as I was born. And it didn't stop for 17 years.
Wow.
And
What
the
happened
first attempt, I think, was when I was about 2 years old. I know this from stories more than my own memory.
it's because of a head injury.
Well, that's a possibility as well. No, this would have been a drug overdose. He was trying to feed me pills from
Jesus.
the medicine cabinet while my mom was in the shower, and he just grabbed this couple of pills and was trying to shove them into my mouth for the entire period of that shower.
What does Tylenol mean?
Yeah, I think it was something along those lines, but it was like the super big pills, like the horse pills.
Just call your mama horse.
Horses are beautiful, majestic creatures.
That's true.
And I don't think that would be an insult to most anyone. So I feel like
Tell it to your mom.
I will talk to my mom and say that there were comparisons made. I could actually say that Jonas made the comparison. No, it was Leon. Leon made the
I
comparison.
didn't say shit.
So the next
I
time my
didn't.
mom visits,
Yeah, no.
she'll know who to beat.
You have to bleep this, but I...
I was gonna say, we could just rewind and see exactly who said it, Leon. There's no hiding here.
He said horse. You said...
I said horse pill.
Yeah,
and
and
he
you
said-
said they were your mother's pills.
And that's what he said then.
I
Yeah. So it kind of indicates on you, Brian. So
It's the Socratic method, damn it.
I think at the end of the day, we'll let my mommy decide, and she will figure out.
So,
Your younger sibling calling for mommy.
mommy.
so are we talking about
Things
like
come full circle here.
neck length or like the teeth? Or
The quality of
How many
the teeth.
hands high are the pills?
Kick strength.
Wait, how old were you when your brother tried to do that?
When my brother attempted murder the first time, I was probably around 2 years old.
Wow.
So
don't
walking
need-
and smart enough not to let my brother put
you
any
don't need a lot
pills
of
in my
tablets
mouth.
for that. Like you can like 3 and that's enough, or 2.
Yeah. The first
No
murder
wonder
attempt
you came to
soon.
Germany. You just wanted to survive.
Well, I wasn't going to say it out loud, but yeah, that
He's a war
certainly
refugee.
didn't hurt my chances of leaving the country.
Like in all those interviews, like, are you like, is there someone after your life? You're like, yes.
Yeah, I didn't have to apply for asylum. I managed to sneak in on the "you're a white guy" card. But yeah, had I needed to, I think I had a plausible case.
That's the ultimate party story that I usually tell, that I'm a refugee from North Korea when people don't know me.
Oh, yeah, right. You said
Yeah. You guys know the story already, but it's kind of fun to pretend a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I've tried to tell that story. People don't really believe me. I don't know why.
You and Kim Jong Un Il. Which
I think he's
which
ill, yeah.
Kim is the.
That's my
I think
uncle.
they're all
It's Kim
ill,
Jong-un.
so I think
That's my uncle.
I don't think Kim Jong-un can be your uncle. I don't think he's old enough for that. Well, I guess uncles.
I was
can
going to
be
say
really
there
young.
are certain
My
family
father is
constellations.
like he's a third cousin of my father. Yeah.
wait, your
that
mother is
another
the
party
third cousin
story?
of your father?
Yeah. No, I'm not gonna do that now.
See, it would be very funny if your last name was Kim.
Yeah, true. No, but my grandma is Kim, so it's like on grandma's side. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a very, very rare name in Korea.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not saying.
I was going to say, you got to tread lightly here because
Yeah.
it is being recorded, and I certainly was not going to jump
she's
on that.
doing the
bandwagon.
editing.
And Kate is doing the
I know.
editing.
She would have blackmail material on you forever.
You need
It's-
more material.
Are you gonna do another intro in funny way-ish?
You don't have to.
What do you mean?
What do you think this is?
No, he last time he did like a trailer type of thing.
Yeah, but that wasn't an intro. That just happened naturally throughout the course of the conversation.
Oh, that just happened naturally. Oh,
Oh,
it's just
yeah.
when I'm just this awesome by coincidence.
It was organic.
Are you kind of jealous? Do you envy? I feel like there is
Oh, wait,
certain.
wait. Jealous? Sorry, that's a joke that only old people will understand.
I didn't get it.
John Lovitz. If you don't know who John Lovitz is, I recommend looking him up.
The musician?
No, he's a comedian,
Oh, I'm talking about someone else.
and he was on SNL for quite a while with people like Mike Myers and Dana Carvey.
Yeah, right. John Lovitz is not Lenny Kravitz. That's the difference.
Yeah, there's a big difference.
Was he in Inception?
I have no idea.
That's
Unless you just
I
incepted
know
that,
that-
into
that's
my
Joseph
head.
Gordon-Lewis.
Yes.
I see.
Another person. White
See,
guy.
some things go over my head. It's perfectly acceptable.
It's a very recent film.
Yeah, just like The French Connection is a very recent film. Depends on who you are and how relative time is to you. So, hello, everybody, and welcome back. Wait, I can't say everybody. Hello, persons of quality, and welcome back to another lovely episode of this Anglisten Assemble. Lovely to have you all here. Today with me, as always, is the Leon.
Hello, hello.
And also we have the Kate.
Hi.
And on top of this wonderful panel of characters, we also have our very special guest, Jonas Wagner.
Greetings.
Nice to have you here. Thank you for being so generous with your time and coming around.
I'm happy to be here.
So, as you have been forewarned, there is a lightning round that is going to come right about now. So, Kate, why don't you lead us off in our lightning round questions?
Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Near you.
Any specific kind of coffee? I want to know more here. Lightning. Like, what do you put in your coffee?
I have my coffee with loads and loads of oat milk.
Oat milk.
And that's about it, really.
Sugar? No.
No.
Okay.
The oat milk is sweet enough.
Oat
All right.
sugar.
As someone who adds oat milk and a lot of sugar, I can't relate.
I think that's called Starbucks.
No, Starbucks is if I put like syrup in there or cream
And
or
then you
something.
just throw money in their face.
Yeah, also
a
I would
lot
have
of,
to pay
like, you
like
let
a
it rain.
mortgage for coffee.
All right, Leanne, take us forward.
Favorite comfort food?
Oh, that's a tricky one. It's gonna be chips, as in French fries. I think
Okay.
with vinegar, actually.
Malt vinegar? Or just
You can do
Straight up
that?
vinegar.
Balsamic, I guess.
Okay.
Whatever I have around.
Nice.
There are chips with vinegar flavor.
Yeah, I know, but he said like chips as in French fries.
Yeah.
Which means like the pommes.
Yeah.
If we're talking, and then you do that with vinegar.
Yes.
You can do that?
Yeah.
I'm gonna call the cops. I'm sorry.
I think from now on, anytime we use a German word, we have to throw the in front of it because that was just so nice. The pumice.
Yeah, we can keep that. I like it.
It's the national comfort food of Britain.
Oh yeah, those with
Now
ugly
that's
teeth.
chips though.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
Like
Chips, not crisps.
And this is why I got confused. Like I know the crisps or chips as chips, and then with vinegar. But this one, okay, I think I'm gonna try it.
It's a very Canadian thing to do, which is why I will forgive your doing it. But Canadians tend to do the whole malt vinegar thing with their French fries, and that's how I at least discovered it. And it's pretty good actually.
Yeah, it's
I
really
have
nice.
to say.
I mean, vinegar chips as in crisps are nice. So vinegar chips as in
The
damn it.
The pommes.
Stupid lexical variation.
Love it. Okay, I'm going to move on in the lightning round to Jonas. What is your favorite or one of your favorite books?
Oh man, my answer is gonna make me sound like an absolute tool. But I just think it is genuinely A Brief History of Time by Stephen Hawking.
Oh, wow.
I sound like
Super
a pretentious
astrophysics
douche
nerdy.
right now. But
I love it. No, that's a great answer. When did you first pick that up, and what drew you to it?
I think that was that must have been 2014 or 2015 maybe, and it was right after I stopped studying physics.
Okay.
And gave up after 2 semesters and thought, I think I can probably understand this general audience book.
Hey, man, science communicators are really rare, and I think there's Neil deGrasse Tyson and other wonderful people who do this.
Is Morgan Freeman one of them?
No. Maybe.
Sorry, I just remember he used to have like a show. I think at some point.
I think Morgan Freeman used to have many shows. But
Yeah, like one of the scientific ones. But I was a kid, so I just remember him just being there, and there is like universe in the back, and that's it.
I mean, he might have done some really good narration for a lot of
Yeah.
those types of shows.
I know that he's
I'm
not
not
a
sure,
scientist.
but I stand corrected if you find it. I totally believe you. I could see him doing that. So, A Brief History of Time, very fun and very nerdy, and I love the book as well. But fair enough. Why not an astrophysics book? I mean,
yeah.
why did you? I mean, you said you didn't like physics, or what was it that took you away from physics?
Well, it's a question of did I not like physics or did physics not like me? I started physics just kind of not knowing what I was getting into. I had physics in high school, and I struggled with it a little bit. And then I thought, gonna go to uni and study that. Which
Wonderful decision. I struggled a bit, so I thought I would go for it.
actually, I first decided I'm going to go to Aachen and study that, which, if you know about German universities, that's like the one to do physics. That turned out to be a very bad idea.
Okay.
And then I did it for 1 semester in Bielefeld, and I actually passed that semester. But I thought,
Why
how often do I
struggle?
want to scrape by with a 4.0?
Fair enough. Uphill battles. They're attractive for so long.
I feel like you're not the only one who started with like science, hard science, and then moved on to English. I think Jessica was studying chemistry, right?
Wasn't it biology?
Or biology. I don't remember.
Are you confusing her with Angela?
No. Like I remember hearing one of your podcasts, like one of the episodes when Jessica was a guest, and I think she said that she would study chemistry in the first semester, and then she switched the subject, and I was like, oh, just like me, and maybe.
I mean, a lot of people did that. Also, some people start with those sciences for placeholder subjects. Not saying that that's all they're good for, and then want to switch something else in a later semester, like biology or whatever. That has a high-end numerus clausus, and then they realize, maybe I don't want to do that as much anymore, so I'd rather switch to something even more awesome like English.
I do have to say I had English from the start. I had 2 subjects.
Okay.
It was like a
And
Lehramt thing.
those are combinable? Physics and Anglistic?
For Lehramt, you can combine damn near everything.
Okay. I mean, it's a very specific school form, then. You got to do GymG at that point, right? Or could you do that elsewhere?
You could do that definitely for higher ski as well.
Oh, yeah?
Primary school might be a little bit of a stretch,
Might be tough.
but they have physics class in higher ski.
Okay, fair enough. I only say that because I never took a physics class in high school at all. And so
You could do that?
it wasn't offered at my school.
What is this?
So we had very bland, generic science title names. Like, we did have chemistry. I remember chemistry. I remember biology in the sense that, like, carving up frogs. but I don't remember ever being offered just a straight up physics class.
We didn't do that.
Brian just accidentally just like talks about carving up frogs, and it's like nothing.
We did pig's eyes.
Yeah, we did that as
Yeah,
well.
us too. And I had so much fun.
I can
It's-
imagine, yeah.
Yeah.
We also did things like starfish and snails and about that. Anyway, okay.
Wait, we talked about.
We had book, no, it was movie.
Did Brian ask about the book?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
did.
So, favorite movie or one of the favorites?
Oh, that's gonna be In Bruges.
Oh,
Oh,
Wow.
yes.
the one with Colin.
Oh, you all watched that?
Yes.
Wonderful.
The one with Colin
Farrell.
Farrell. Yeah.
I think that's it. Yeah. And oh god, the other guy.
And the other guy.
It's actually that director works with these two guys a lot, and all of his films are brilliant. I urge you to watch all of them. You might have seen some of them.
Seven Psychos is great.
I didn't like Seven Psychos that much.
I mean, In Bruges is better,
Yes,
but I do like Seven Psychos.
I really liked Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Okay, yeah. I mean, Sam Rockwell.
Yeah,
He's amazing. I would watch that movie just for him.
and Banshees of Inisherin.
Fair enough.
And I think that's literally all that he, like every movie that he made.
We just went through the whole film.
Seven Psychos was
filmography.
his debut film.
Okay.
I kind of
Wait,
always
what?
No, sorry.
In Bruges
In Bruges was the debut.
is older than Seven Psychos, yeah.
No, I always wanted to watch the Three Billboards, but I don't have the full
The
name.
what?
Yeah, I just always forget the name. I just know that there are 3 billboards, and then there comes something, and then I forget it all the time, even though I heard it already. But I always kind of, I don't know, like I see the trailer, and it's like, nah.
It's worth it. It's definitely
worth
worth
it?
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it like drama or what is that?
Dramedy?
Dramedy?
It is not comforting.
No.
It is.
Okay.
If you've watched In Bruges, it's like
It's
a very
mystery,
dark
right?
humor.
Yeah.
Sorry?
It's not mystery, but not super
Yeah.
natural mystery.
I think that's a part of it, sure. Of course. I mean, holding some suspense in some way for the audience. Like,
It's a true crime podcast from before true crime podcasts.
I think true crime podcasts go way before that movie.
Fair enough.
Okay, next question.
Leon.
That would be your favorite fictional character.
Oh god, I had a good one for that and forgot.
That's what they all say.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some good answers, and like, don't say Doctor Who because then we have to start the battle of which one.
I've never watched a single episode of Doctor Who.
Same.
Yeah, geez, I think we got to skip that one because I'm just drawing a complete blank.
Nah,
Is
it's
that
fine.
all right?
Maybe we can come back and
Fair enough.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, in that case, I will take. Do you have a favorite slang term?
/ curse word.
It could be a curse word, phrase,
Ooh.
anything nice and non-standard.
Jesus, I really should have looked at the questions again. Okay, this is getting into my specialty already, but I like South Africans using the word busy because they use it to mark the progressive in general, and you get wonderful examples. And I've taken this from like an actual book. When I arrived at the scene of the accident, he was busy dying.
That's actually great.
Which is like, you imagine someone lying there after an accident, you want to do CPR, and he's like, fuck off. I'm dying.
Sorry, I'm busy here.
Busy dying.
So not slang, but non-standard, I suppose.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
I like it.
Other than that, I've really liked yeet when it was around.
Well, I mean, it's still something you can say. People
do you
people
use
might
it for?
cringe.
What do you use it for?
Do you have something that is not too valuable that I can hold on to for a second? No, it's when you throw something. Yeet.
Oh, okay.
And the whole discussion, what's the past tense? Is it yoked?
Ooh.
It's like you can throw it and then you say yit.
Yeah, but it's also throwing away, and if you have like a bit of a garbage partner, you can say just yeet the boyfriend, as in break up.
Or as you were just saying, if the boyfriend that was just someone you already broke up with, then you yote him?
Maybe, or yeeted.
Yeeted or yote? I
would
like
say
the
yeeted.
discussion. I like the way Yote sounds. It's just
Yote
fun.
sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
Right?
But you don't know where it comes from then. But
Welcome to irregular verbs, baby.
Right? Let's learn.
I feel like all of those words die immediately after you start discussing them this way. Because
Yeah.
it's like the more you think about them, the less they make sense and the less you actually want to use them.
Or maybe just the less fun they are, and so people stop using them.
Have you ever watched like the German television where they start listing the teenage words of the year or something?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the Jugendwort des Jahres.
Yes.
oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
They're actually accepting suggestions right now.
Oh, so, get your ballots out, folks. And where do we send those? What's the address?
Who cares about you parliament? Let's
That's going to be a more impactful vote.
Wait, correction. The Jugendwort des Jahres.
the Jugendwort.
There you go.
Oh, did I not say the
Yeah,
article?
that's
Oh.
fine.
It's a new thing. We'll get used to it as we go. But I do enjoy it. Fair enough. So, moving on.
To Oxford comma, yay or nay?
Oh, absolutely yay. Absolutely yay.
That's the most emphatic answer we've gotten for the Oxford comma so far. I have to dig. What's up with your relationship to the Oxford comma?
It's not that I hate when people don't use it. It's that I think it genuinely sometimes is confusing.
Okay.
I even have an Oxford semicolon, which I use for lists of lists.
Interesting.
I
Wow.
don't remember the last time I read a semicolon or used it.
You should read more of what I write because I tend to overuse them a little
Self-promotion.
bit. I was
There you
told.
go. I'm gonna say, and that's advice that we can give everybody out there listening.
Wait, which means
all one of you.
I have a question. Mary, Jane, and Kate. Is there a comma?
Mary, comma, Jane, comma, and Kate.
So no comma after and, or before.
Before and.
Before and.
Mary, comma, Jane, comma, and Kate.
Oh, I
Okay.
wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But
not-
that's
That's
how
not-
you do the Oxford comma.
Yeah, that's just not how I would do it.
Okay,
I'm
fair
a
enough.
nay. I'm a nay.
Fair enough.
Like unnecessary punctuation, like unnecessary in my brain, not for everybody.
Wait, what
just
is
in my brain.
unnecessary in that?
Imagine
second comma.
Imagine if you have something like my grandparents, I don't know, Steven Tyler and Judi Dench. The comma is really important there because it's the difference between.
But you would need the first comma for the second comma to really be necessary.
Something like my grandparents, comma, Steven
you
Tyler
got
and
three
Judi
things
Dench,
now.
comma,
Okay.
took me to dinner.
Okay.
enough.
Do you mean the linguist?
What?
Do you mean the linguist Judi Dench?
Is there a linguist named Judi Dench?
Yeah, there's a British. I think she's a linguist and anthropologist. She's researching where words come from and what they originally meant. It's like she has written a couple of books that are all brilliant.
Are you shitting me?
No, she's Jane Judi Dench.
I meant.
She's Jane Judi Dench,
I think so.
so not Dame Judi Dench, but Jane Duty. This is
Jane Judi
Duty.
Dench.
Duty. Now it's howdy Duty all of a sudden. Yeah. I mean, it's just
No, wait.
The
That's
homonym
the
is-
actress. Wait,
incredible.
I'll come back to this.
I was gonna say. This is just a lesson to everybody out there. Check your sources and see if you got it right.
If your source is named Judi Dench, maybe check again.
Well, if it's Jane Judi Dench, then it's fine.
So I asked about the comma. And Leon
Did
is
you,
doing
did
his
you ask about the
research.
comma or the coma? I'm wondering for a
The,
second.
the Oxford comma is.
The Oxford coma is what happens if you drink
Yeah.
way too much at Oxford.
Definitely.
I
No.
do have a question for me if that's what you meant.
Yeah. Like,
Okay.
do you want to ask the next one?
I really don't want to watch it. If you could live in any literary world, which one would it be?
If we take the widest sense of literary, Animal Crossing.
Really?
Is the game?
Yeah, it just seems very chill.
Yeah.
You just chill in your little town or on your island. If you have debt, no one's going to break your knees or. And
I've
you
yet to
don't
see those
accrue any
characters,
interest, and you just harvest some tomatoes and
Yeah.
make some friends.
Can you tell me more about this game? Because I think I heard about it, but I've never played it. Is it like on PC available or?
No, it's only on Nintendo platforms.
Damn.
But on PC you can play Stardew Valley, which is kind of the same thing.
Okay.
It's very
Similar-ish.
inspired by.
She's called, by the way, she's called Susie Dent.
You were so close too. I mean, I just.
It has been a while
felt
since
it.
I watched the show where she's in. It's a good show, but it's been a while.
Wait, is she a linguist or is she an actress now?
No, she's a linguist, but she's she's a lexicographer,
Yeah.
and she's the person they refer to when it comes to is it a word? It's the show 8 out of 10 Cats does count.
Oh yeah.
And they refer to her when they basically get letters and they have to spell words, and she says it's a word or it isn't a word.
Ah. Now, did you put the in front of lexicographer just now because it's a German translation, or why was it the lexicographer? Or is she
Didn't I
that
say
important?
a lexicographer?
I don't know. I heard the. Maybe it's just my brain.
I think he said the lexicographer on the show.
On the show. See, we did specify. That's good. Okay, so I'm going to
What's
stop.
going on here?
The BM1 is seeping. The BM1, damn it.
I'm going to say I've got the comas over here. That's so much going on. I don't know
Stop
why I'm
making
being
fun
so
of my
critical today.
pronunciation. I'm really trying here.
You're doing a wonderful job.
Thank
All
you.
right. So that was the literary world, Animal Crossings. Wow. Watch out, people. Shots fired. If you didn't see that on the lovely video,
I'm
I
gonna
believe
cut it in.
Jonas was expressing his non-agreement with doing a wonderful job on
No.
Kate's end.
Well, because it's a fantastic job, not a wonderful.
Oh, you saved yourself. Yeah, no, already
saved
put you
yourself.
on the in my
Safety
death.
net.
Yeah, like
You
what is
wouldn't have left this room otherwise.
that? Yeah.
Watch out.
Am I this scary? I don't think so.
We'll see in a minute.
Yeah, exactly. So next question. If you could talk with one celebrity, author, historical figure, you name it, anytime, alive or dead, not talking to the dead version of them, but to an alive version of a dead person,
Fair enough.
who would you want to talk to?
I think I'd like to talk to René Descartes because I want to know what the hell was going on in his head.
Okay.
He just seems like he would be an interesting person to talk to.
All right. So a very existential answer. What do you think was going on in his head? I mean, is it just the surprise of it all? Or?
I think it's the surprise of it all. I mean, that whole like nearly solipsistic thing, the only thing that exists is me, which is, to be fair, literally everything I know about Descartes. And I think he made the little coordinate system.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Good answer. Definitely not one we would have seen or foreseen.
What would you have foreseen?
I honestly don't have a stereotypical answer in mind. But I mean, with answers like Animal Crossing or, In Bruges or something like that, I would have perhaps foreseen something more chill. Descartes seems like he was probably a pretty energetic guy.
Yeah, fair enough.
I just want someone to come in and say like, I would love to meet Dr. House because I have like this mole.
Wow.
I mean,
Okay.
House would be a cool example.
Okay.
That would be fun.
True.
Fair enough. Last question, Kate.
Am I the one to? Okay.
Yeah, you get the good
Yes.
question.
It's your
Okay.
question, basically.
Leon versus Kate, me, in a pistol duel. Who's gonna win? I love this question.
See, I think this is an unfair thing because Kate, lots of eye contact when she asks the question. Leon, looking up at the ceiling.
No, I'm also next to the person. Like,
You can turn and face a person. It's okay.
I have to say you, Kate, but mostly because I know you a bit better and I
Yeah.
know how ruthless you are from theater group. So
Well, yeah. No, did I do something in theater?
I guess pistol duels are also more about reflexes and aim. Mm-hmm. So I can't really say. I'd have to see you do some target practice before I place a bet.
But no, it's okay. I'm gonna take it as a win.
Yeah, that definitely sounded like a win. All right, so you've survived the lightning round, which only, at least according to our soundboard here, lasted, what was that, 20 minutes? Lightning molasses is what we're going for.
lightning storm.
It's
mean,
the CFL tube of lightning.
I mean, we're definitely faster this time around.
You think so?
Yeah.
We're
yeah.
getting better.
Yeah.
We're just
I
going
mean-
to tell ourselves that.
Also depends on how long an answer takes, right? If it's like, okay, I like coffee, and I'm like, I like this tea, but that coffee, but this chai latte is also great.
To be fair, my first answer was coffee, and then you asked me to elaborate.
That's true.
I think that's the first time we did that as well.
I don't know about the first time, but I'm getting much more slower in the lightning round because I do want to dig a little bit more. Because if we just get a one-word answer,
Yeah, that's why it's a lightning round. Though.
It was actually, well, we kind of thought about it as lightning round, but at the same time, it's interesting to hear more, have some more information. So yeah.
I mean, we could call it something like the format round just to make it more what it is. It's just a formatted round of questions.
The interrogation.
Yes. Where were you on the night of the
Security
5th?
card number, please.
It's the prepared part of the oral exam.
Exactly. Although other questions have been prepared, I'm sure. But I'm going to start with one that I don't think is on a list anywhere because I just heard you, talking with Kate about EDG. So the English
yeah.
drama group. What's your connection to the EDG?
Oh, I was in the EDG from. Geez.
But this is unfair.
Why?
Kate is just inviting people she knows.
I actually volunteered after Brian invited
Exactly.
everyone.
I did. I invited everyone. I'm shameless.
We are aware.
Vaguely the point. Sorry, no, EDG. I was in the EDG starting winter 2015, and my last production was summer 2021.
So what kind of shows did you work on?
Oh, I worked on 1984, Pride and Prejudice, 12 Angry Men.
You did
Octopus?
1984?
I'm sorry,
Yes.
I missed 12 Angry Men.
Oh,
Dear Octopus?
d-
Were you there?
I'm going chronologically.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
So after that was Stuff Happens, which is a brilliant play about how the world was like sliding into the war in Iraq, and it was like a very satirical take on the whole thing.
Okay.
God, what was after that? Revenge is Tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
I skipped one, which I forgot which that was. Never mind. And I'm losing my chronology. Then I think already might have been Dear Octopus, actually. And then a couple others.
You threw him off, Kate. That wasn't fair.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Throwing octopi into the ring.
Oh,
Octopi,
Our Town.
octopuses.
That was the one that I wasn't in,
Mm.
which is less interesting. I
Okay.
suppose.
What is the plural of octopus? Is it octopi?
Yeah.
In German it isn't. It's octopoden.
Octopussy. I
Or
just
is
love
it
the word.
the octopoden?
Yeah, it's the octopoden. I'm sorry.
Really?
Just had to.
Is that the plural?
I think it is.
It depends.
I don't think it's octopusse. I think
Nah.
originally it would be octopoden.
Nein, laber nicht. I'm sorry.
I mean, what is
Tut tut, the Laber nicht.
Okay, sorry.
I mean, I'm unsure, but like it's the same with like people talking about graffiti and spaghetti. Like those are plurals.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Like graffito. The
But you
graffito.
very rarely
Yeah,
only eat
my-
one spaghetto.
Yeah, but my family does that a lot. We're like, can I have a spaghetti? You mean spaghetto, please? Fuck you.
Why would you eat one spaghetti?
To see if it is spaghetti. Great one.
Just one spaghetti.
To see if it's done or not.
Okay, fair enough.
That's a really
I
good
just
reason.
can't imagine coming into the room and asking for one to see if they're done. It's
Like maybe the chef, when he walks into the kitchen, is like, okay, sous chef, give me one
give me the spaghetti.
something. Yeah, whatever that might be. Fair enough.
You don't throw it at the fridge anymore. My fridge is made of metal, so I don't think it will work so well.
No.
I never knew that was a test, like ever. And I just saw a video where people like wanted to test if it's done and just threw it at stuff. Like, what are you doing?
It also only works with spaghetti. Try that with ravioli.
For all of you listening at home, yes, please try it with ravioli, videotape it, and send it to us.
Yeah.
Tortellini.
Or just post it to Insta at anglistan.assemble. Just make sure you tag us.
Imagine we'll start like an entire trend on TikTok and on Instagram, and then we are the trendsetters.
I feel like
Just yeet the ravioli.
There we go.
I feel like my favorite trend ever on like social media stuff was people sending Gordon Ramsay bad food. I love that so much.
Wait, physically or pictures of that?
Pictures. They like he had like an Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and he had like rate my food stuff where people send him like their best tries, and then it deteriorated. People just sending him like flatbread and cheese or something. It's just getting worse and worse.
Flatbread and cheese isn't bad food. It's just
Yeah,
boring.
it's rudimentary though.
Yes.
Fair enough.
It's like burnt
true.
charcoal pizza, and he just got so angry.
All right, so we were at English Drama Group. From Burned Charcoal Pizza back to the English Drama Group. So of the ones that you did, which one did you enjoy doing the most? These different plays that we've listed now.
I have to say Stuff Happens.
Okay.
The one about the Iraq War. That was just a lot of fun to do. We had like a fun gimmick, I guess, where we were all on stage constantly, just sitting in a big semicircle, and then everyone who was acting in a scene got up, put on a hat, because we didn't all play the same character the whole time. So we had like 3 people playing Bush and 4 people playing Tony Blair. So I was Tony Blair for a while. I was Colin Powell once or twice. That was good. We had a lot of fun moments.
Fair enough. And so when did you step out? Sorry, go ahead.
It has to be confusing the credits though, like who played what. It's just everyone is playing everyone.
See, that's why we had the hats. I think they helped, but I didn't ask the audience.
Who played Blair? Green hat.
No. The hats were matched in not just color. So Blair would have had like a bowler hat, and Blair would have the felt bowler hat, and Blair's 2 aides would have plastic bowler hats.
Okay.
I think Bush had like a big cowboy hat.
That fits. That fits. I was going to ask about Colin Powell. Was it like one of those military officer kind of captain hats?
I think, yeah, like I think a beret for Powell, actually.
Okay.
We had a couple of characters who were played by the same one all the way through. I think Donald Rumsfeld was played by the same person.
Okay, but you got to switch up and do different roles in the same play. That's pretty fun.
That's actually amazing. But it's so much work, text-wise, right?
Why?
Because you have to learn for, 2 rows, 3
No,
rows.
because
but you know when you switch,
Yes.
so it's the same as learning the lines of one character.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it was not just like for one play you would be just...
No. You'd be that person in this scene and then another person in the next
okay,
one.
all right.
Oh, that would be funny though. Like you don't know who you're gonna throw the hat next to. Like, okay, you're Blair now. Have fun.
It was nearly a 3-hour play, so that would have been a little bit unfortunate.
Well, I mean, depending on how many times you perform it, it would have at least mixed it up for the cast so that they would have to think on their toes the entire time.
Yeah, just everyone learns the 60-page script.
Yeah.
There you go.
And imagine just like how you could bully just one actor and not give him any role at all during the entire play, although he learned 16 pages of text.
Or you give him all 3 hats at once.
Or that.
A hat on a hat on a hat.
Schizophrenia play.
All right, fair enough. So when did you jump out of the EDG?
I mean, COVID was a big thing.
Ah.
There were a couple of performances that either just didn't take place or I didn't have time, or there were like strict regulations on how many people could join. I only participated in the COVID ones that were remote. So one was we like recorded videos at home, and for one we did an audio play of Midsummer Night's Dream. And that was the last one that I was in. Were you in that one?
No.
Ooh, that's unfortunate. That was fun.
No.
But then afterwards, I just kind of fizzled out in the winter semester. I just didn't feel like going. And then in the summer semester, I had like 2.5 months to write my MA thesis. So I literally didn't have time to do anything else.
Yeah, that sounds like a time-consuming operation with 2.5 months.
Yeah, I don't recommend that.
Where did the 2.5-month deadline come from?
I basically needed it so that I could apply for positions at a particular time.
Ah, yeah. The old story.
And I had sweat the date previously, and then was reminded that, there was a deadline coming up.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. All too familiar with turning things in before you're ready, just so you can get a job. It's a lovely thing. If folks, if you're thinking about getting into an academic career, Leon, Kate, this is for you as well.
Oh yeah,
be ready for exactly
think
this
long
kind
and
of thing.
hard.
Well, first that. I mean, of course, you have to decide whether or not that kind of torture is for you. But at the same time, it is, look at those deadlines. Mm-hmm. You've got to be very aware. It's a very political situation around here, and any university. It's not special to Bielefeld.
Several people told me not to do it, and I still did it, so I'm not sure how.
Every single person I talk to is like, oh, you don't want to be in academia. I'm like, I've been waiting for a job in academia for like 5 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone is telling me, stop waiting or like, don't try. I'm like, what do you want from me?
Well, I don't think that at all. I think if it's your calling, if it's something that you really think you want to be doing, definitely pursue it.
I mean, I've been keep keep calling, it just doesn't pick up.
Nice. Yeah, fair enough. I think it only answers when it wants to, is kind of
Apparently.
the problem. But, I mean, it is a very competitive field, and I think people just have to be prepared for that. I mean, all of the lecturers, all of the researchers that you meet around here, they're also, at least from a certain perspective, which I think is normally the student perspective on the people who work here, they all seem so chill. They all seem so, I don't know, not insane. I think we're all a little insane, if I'm honest. But we appear sane from the outside. We do a very good job of covering our tracks. And some better than others.
Speak for yourself.
Indeed. But all right. Jokes aside, no.
Jokes?
Academia for sure. I mean, if it's something that you're interested in, pursue, but, be aware of the challenges.
Be
And I
aware
think-
that you will have to shoot someone to get their position.
Yeah, pretty much. Be aware that you're going to get like a 3-year contract to do your PhD, and it might get extended by a year. And if you haven't done it, tough shit.
Well,
I'm aware of that.
be ready to apply for money from the state while you finish your PhD if you're still considering that as your calling. You just kind of have to roll with the punches, I think, is the bottom line. And I know folks who have done exactly that.
I think the most frustrating thing isn't, you mentioned that it's competitive. I don't think, for me, the most frustrating thing is not competing with other researchers. It's competing with funding.
Right. Well, there's so many people and so few positions, and so
Fair.
there's a natural competition that
That's true.
happens in the application process and the interviewing process. Everything. It's I mean, when I say it's cutthroat, I don't really think that there are academics sharpening knives outside of interviews waiting for the next person.
Not
to
all
come
of
out.
them.
I mean, there are.
The good ones do.
If they're
but,
cooking in the meantime.
but yeah, fair enough. All right. So we got the EDGs. And I mean, just to give our listener out there an idea of what it is that you do and how you got into that. So where exactly would you place yourself within, I don't know, first of all, the different subject portion of British and American studies, and how did you get started with that?
I'm like very firmly placed in the linguistics part. I can be more specific. Basically, I research language variation or like dialect contact phenomena at the interface between dialects in Southern Africa. How did I get there? That's a very good question. I suspect many people listening, I did not know anything about linguistics when I started going to uni. Just never heard of it. I think we had that one weird thing about the Sprachursprungstheorien.
Nice. Well done.
in German class. That turns out that wasn't true what they told us there.
German class?
Yeah. It was like Herder, I think. It's
I
like-
don't remember that at all.
Oh yeah, that was preparation for Abitur. Brilliant stuff. Just they said language comes from like things that make noises are named after the noises, because clearly if you've heard a goat, they just walk around saying goat because apparently they're Pokemon.
Oh yeah, right. I remember that. Like table is like if you hit a table, it makes a table sound. Like no, it doesn't.
Yeah, kind of breaks down when you realize how many things that we have words for don't make any noise. Like, light.
Justice.
So that was my linguistics training when I started uni.
Okay.
And then I just kind of got into it. I don't know, it just clicked with me, I guess. I really liked morphosyntax in the beginning, believe it or not. Well,
Okay.
morphology. Syntax, not so much. A trend that has continued.
Okay. But I mean, when I see the hard science connection from what you were describing as physics, for example, at the beginning, the draw seems clear to me. I mean, if we're talking about, our department, literary and cultural studies, many people see the linguistics side of it as the most empirical bit and, more science-y than the scholarly stuff. How do you see it?
I mean, I do think that it is, well, empirical is a harsh word, I guess. I guess it is more empirical in the very traditional sense, but not all linguistics is quantitative, for example, whereas I haven't heard of anyone doing qualitative physics. That seems like a bit of a stretch. I do quantitative research, but not everyone in the department does. I would say maybe even a majority don't. So the hard science connection isn't necessarily all that strong.
Okay.
That came back in my master's.
In what way? How do you mean?
Well, I have to finish up the bachelor's. It's a thing that I said in 2020. I did German studies as my minor in the bachelor's.
Okay.
And then I just kind of, put off finishing my BA because I didn't want to be a teacher.
Fair.
And it took a while to figure out what am I going to do with, English and German. And then I just said, well, screw it, I'm going to do a linguistics master's and settle for computational linguistics because, frankly, a big consideration was I'm into computers, I guess. And the other thing was that's maybe how I can get a job outside of academia, potentially. And then I really liked computational linguistics and really took like a big quantitative turn. Wasn't that much into quantitative research before that. And just now everything is numbers.
Okay, what are the numbers that you're looking at exactly?
Currently I'm looking at no numbers because I'm doing theory crafting.
Could have just said zeros and ones.
Yeah, for example.
See, I could have said right now I'm looking at a 10, but
Ooh.
I didn't say that.
You really didn't. What the hell? Anyway.
No,
It's a
For those of you who didn't notice, he was calling me a 10. Anyway,
It's strong 8.
a strong 8. Well, I mean, I maybe a strong 8, but with the extra pounds I got, it makes up for it and puts me at a 10. Anyway.
it's an Idaho 10.
It's an Idaho 10 and a New York 3.
And Michigan 8.
And an LA negative something. I don't know.
No, not numbers. Sorry, we were talking about.
I just bashed my ear on the microphone.
Texas 14.
Okay.
That's the imperial system of attractiveness. It's 14
Wait.
Fahrenheit, isn't it?
Well, we talked about like Idaho and Germany. What is then, Brian, here in Germany?
Oh.
Not to put you on the spot or anything.
But if you answer wrong,
Given the current political climate, I will refrain from making stereotypical comments about Germany.
A
I'd like
wise
to-
decision.
I'd like to talk to my lawyer.
That's right.
Isn't there one out there?
1 or 2, maybe.
Yeah, we're in the legal library, just in case anyone's wondering where out there is. But maybe to draw this back from a precipice or an abyss, just for a second. So we were talking about the kinds of research that you're doing. So what kind of numbers are you working with? I mean, it sounds like features of some variety.
Yes, certainly. Mostly, at this point, I'm mostly working with like frequencies of particular features.
Okay.
So I already like alluded to the South African busy, and that's something that what I want to investigate is, does this become more common in Botswana English over time?
Ah, okay.
So does Botswana English become more like one of the various South African Englishes over time? There's like a big theory reason for that. There's this whole thing called epicenters that people say exists, and that's basically a variety influencing other kinds of English around them. But no one's really taken it seriously to predict something. So people have looked at India and said, yeah, Indian English clearly influences English in Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal. And then people have done that with Australia and said Australian English clearly influences English in New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, and then several like Pacific Island nations.
Okay.
But no one's gone and applied the same logic to anywhere else. So I'm doing that for South Africa.
Okay. Very cool. Now, if a student were to run into you, where would they most likely find you? So what kind of classes are you teaching?
I was going to say in my office.
I don't know how many of them are going to bump into you in your office, but fair enough.
I do share an office with Jessica, so it's just
That's true.
It's vastly more likely that they're there to see her.
Fair.
I've taught like 4 classes. So mostly it's like obviously linguistics classes, but accents and dialects in Britain, which is I think something that we are mostly like phasing out in the new model now. I've taught computational variationist linguistics. That was a very, very fun class, but it only attracted a very particular kind of student, and I think we ended up being 5 people in there.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Very nice like student-teacher ratio. Great.
Yeah, no, that's always the best for students. How did you feel teaching just 3 or 4 people in a room?
Brilliant, actually. I mean, I knew that it wasn't going to be many people, and I just gave like a primer on programming. They learned a little Python scripting.
Nice.
And that's something that you can't really do with 30 people, because you have to really go through the scripts, really see where each individual student is maybe struggling with a particular concept. That's difficult to do if you have lots of students.
Fair.
Just very time consuming.
Right.
Right
Okay.
now I'm teaching corpus linguistics.
Okay. And I'm hoping the crowd is larger than 3 or 4 for corpus linguistics.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's roughly 15-ish students most of the days.
I
I
want to
think.
say, don't say 6.
Yeah, it's still double, right? But no, 15, that's quite a large
that's fair
percentage
enough, yeah.
higher. And if I were into empirical things, I might have a percentage number for you, but I don't.
It's about 300% of 5.
True, but I was bouncing between numbers, so I wasn't going to do all of that math in my head. Let it be known. Anyway, okay, so linguistics courses, and it sounds like more in the profile phase kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, in the old model, we didn't really have any, like we had the Intro 1 and Intro 2 in BM3. We had those 2 classes, but those would always be taught by the same person.
Right.
So for the past several years, Fredrik Zeres has been teaching those, and it just makes sense to repeat them, because you have your slides, you know the material, that works. But now I'm actually going to be teaching in the new Basis 3 module, because we have the Basis 3.3 class, where you
Right.
can choose between a bunch of different classes. So you can choose. I'm teaching. I'm going to be teaching language attitudes or dialect attitudes.
Fun.
And we're going to have something on language and gender. We're going to have lots of things to choose from.
That sounds good. Language attitudes is definitely right up my alley. I mean, that's kind of where my research landed, more or less, when I was finishing my PhD or conceiving of my PhD all those many moons ago. I'm sorry, I'm experiencing trauma. I need to pause. I laugh, but I'm crying on the inside. No, sure. But I mean, language attitudes as a sociolinguistic field of study is just definitely, again, the things that are not necessarily empirical for linguistics. And I think, like many others in the program, you get drawn into linguistics somewhere. Like there's a bus, and I think the bus is named sociolinguistics, and that's what gets people into linguistics, perhaps on the early phase.
Can you please explain what is language attitude? Because for me, the word, the attitude, in a way. So
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. I'll defer to our guest.
Well, I should be able to explain that, right?
We'll see.
I should be able to explain that in October by the latest. No, there you go. So language attitudes. I mean, in my case, because we are gonna only be dealing with English, it's really more dialect attitudes, and it's this. We all have these like preconceived notions of particular dialects. For the German speakers, we're gonna tend to evaluate speakers of maybe East German dialects as probably less educated, less competent. And the same is true for English, right? Speakers from especially Birmingham in England are evaluated as lower class, as less educated, less intelligent, less competent, whereas speakers of like kind of standard Southern British English, what you might know as RP as well, those would be evaluated as very educated, very, very posh, very smart,
Okay, I see.
but also as arrogant.
Okay. So basically, language attitude means the attitude towards the languages
Yes.
or dialects or.
Well, and also the associations that
Varieties.
people have with speakers of that language.
Okay,
So,
okay.
what do we have as preconceived notions? I mean, for the same thing is basically true in the U.S. with the Southern dialect versus, Northern dialectal varieties, whatever you want to call them. And, people in the South are seen as less educated, but also friendlier.
Yeah.
Better hosts. There's lots of, pluses and minuses in the scale.
That seems to go hand in hand kind of in the most of the English-speaking world, that people who are viewed as less educated are also viewed as friendlier. I haven't looked if that's also true for like German speakers' language attitudes. Might be.
Yeah, I was just thinking about when you talked about, kind of these Eastern dialectal varieties in Germany. Like, do we see somebody from, I don't know, Spandau as friendlier, per se?
And I should stress very much, in case that wasn't clear, these are not accurate.
No,
perceptions.
absolutely. They're stereotypes.
Yes.
But I mean, stereotypes are in people's heads, and they exist
Absolutely.
in that way.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Well, that's an interesting question as to, do we see Bavarian dialectal speakers, or I don't know, people who do the Schwabeln as people who are, I don't know, friendlier?
That's a good question. You'd have to talk to a German
Sure,
variation
sure.
linguist for that.
I feel like they're so posh in their own way, like the Bavarians.
Really, that's not an association that I would have had immediately.
Really? Because I
Or like
genuinely
stereotype.
don't like Bavaria because it's like not Germany. It's not a representation, clear representation of Germany. And this way it's like, yeah, nah.
What do you mean all Germans walk around like the people in Bavaria? Like, you know this.
Yeah,
They all have
definitely.
Latzhosen. The
Where are
Latzhosen.
yours?
We eat the brezel.
The Weisswurst is definitely
I
on
hate
the
it when
menu.
people from like other countries come to Germany. I expect everything to look like Bavaria. I hate it so much. Like Bavaria is not, it's not Germany like at all.
I think if you expect the nature in Germany everywhere to look like in Bavaria, you're also going to be very disappointed if you go anywhere.
Yeah.
Ruhrpott. The Ruhrpott. I'm sorry.
Whoa, I did say nature.
and I mean, if you go to the Ruhrpott, this is where you don't get any nature.
Yeah.
I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that also is actually not.
I was going to say, that's a
necessary.
stereotype. I used to take my dog up and down, places around Duisburg pretty easily. Rivers, fields, they're
Yep.
there.
Yeah, true.
And Duisburg is the one that people usually make the most fun of.
Mm.
No, it's Bavaria.
Well, my association would be wealth. I mean, Bavaria is the German state that seems to be the wealthiest. And
Yeah.
the question would be, then, that's the relation back to posh that I might have had in my head. Just, that's where the money is, folks.
I mean, without diving into politics, it's also because they get the most money from the state. So they get the most funding, they get the most everything, and thus can use that money to become rich and richer. Yeah, fuck Bavaria.
Wow. This show has taken a dark turn, folks. I
For
did
the
not see this
listeners, that
coming.
was Leon saying that.
Exactly.
It was Brian. He changed his. It was all Brian.
It's fine.
I was puppet mastering Leon,
Yeah.
is what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm good. I didn't realize. All right. Fair enough. So you've got these different classes, language attitudes being among the topics that you're teaching, and students may run into you there.
Yes.
Of the classes that you've taught so far, do you have like a favorite or even a favorite session from one of your classes?
I'm really enjoying corpus linguistics right now.
Okay.
I intended that for students to actually have their own little research project, so either compiling a corpus or analyzing an existing one and presenting that on a poster,
Okay.
which is a fair amount of work for a class. But I think it seems to be working. It seems to be like gearing students towards actually doing research rather than just sitting around reading and then writing a summary. And I just find that more interesting.
Sure. Something more hands-on.
I have
Yeah.
a question actually, because we always come and we always ask about like favorite class. And did you have your least favorite class?
That I taught.
Yeah.
No, I've already understood the implication of the question that you just asked back to her. So I will return to this, but go ahead with the one you taught.
Why is it Brian's class?
That's I have to say accents and dialects because it was my. Oh, we're having some interference here, aren't we? Because it was the first class that I ever taught.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just wasn't super well prepared.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have much time to prepare the class. Usually, it takes a couple of weeks to get into all the material. It wasn't a field that I was like super familiar with. But the thing when you're onboarded as a lecturer for the first time, they have to set the slot in advance before they even hire the person, even before they have the job interviews usually.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't know who they're gonna hire, and they just know we're gonna have to put this slot in.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever takes the job is going to have to teach this slot, and then it's going to be like language in Britain.
Okay.
So you have to be prepared before you know that you're actually getting it, basically.
No.
Ideally.
Yeah. Ideally, yes. It should fit your profile. You're going to have time to prepare afterwards, usually.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to have time before not necessarily before your contract starts, but you're going to have time from the time of signing the contract to the beginning of your contract to like at least mentally prepare. But if it doesn't fit your research profile, then you're going to have to do a lot of reading, and I didn't have the time for that.
Okay, I have a follow-up question about least favorite. Did you ever had like a student you saw them and you wanted to slap their face?
You don't have to answer that question. Please don't.
I'm just
for
glad
your
you
own
didn't look at
safety.
me while saying that.
I have been instructed not to answer this.
There you go. But I wanted to reverse that because I thought the implication would be, what was the worst class you ever took while you were here
Brian's-
doing your different programs, bachelor, master phase, whatever.
I have to think if those people are still here.
Yeah.
You don't have
There's
to name
only-
any names. Or
There's only
anything.
two safe answers. It's either one of Brian's classes or one of a class or lecturer who isn't here anymore. Everything else could be hot water.
I think I only took one class with Brian, and that was U.S. history.
Ah, okay.
I think that might have been your first or one of your first classes.
that
here.
might have been.
And that was wonderful.
Oh, why? Thank you. But just like you, when I got my contract, they were just like, "Oh, by the way, Brian, you're teaching U.S. history from now on. Welcome aboard." And my experience with U.S. history previous to that was, well, I lived in the U.S.
Yeah, bold to
And-
assume the American into American history.
So from the 1990s on, good.
Exactly. So I had lived through the 80s and 90s pretty well in the U.S., but the rest I'm going to have to figure out. And
Yep.
so it took a hot minute for me to kind of put all that material together. And I think like you were just describing, like the first time I taught it, I was just like, oh, this is awful. Like I was preparing on the fly every week.
Yep, pretty much.
That's not a fun place to be.
No.
They just probably assumed he knows Pledge of Allegiance. That's enough. And probably the Second Amendment. Do you know it by heart?
No, I don't know the amendments by heart. That's
Okay.
what books are for.
Oh God, I know like the three words that people keep repeating from the Second Amendment, which is "shall not infringe."
Ah.
A well-regulated militia shall
Right
not
to
be
bear
infringed.
arms.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh no, shall not be infringed. Ah, damn it,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Close enough.
Genuinely, though, the worst
We can
class,
fact check.
the worst class I think that I took would have been a lecture. I'm going to leave it at that, where the person who was teaching it actually said, "Lecture means I'm in the front and I read out aloud."
Oh no.
Yeah, okay.
And that was the whole thing. No
Brian, what
notes,
did you
no
do?
slides, nothing.
Really?
Literally just guy standing in the front reading from
It's a guy.
papers.
You're digging.
So was it in English?
No.
I was going to
safe.
say, please
Okay.
invoke your Fifth Amendment right here to,
He's an American. He doesn't have it.
Exactly.
I'm lending him my Fifth Amendment right.
Which means you don't have one. Okay, now it's time for a personal question.
You could try. Anyway, good.
So I have a question because I don't know if that's true. I don't know if it's any at all like related to your research. Since you talked about language attitude, is there also something like language attitude when you speak a second language? Like that Germans are nicer when they speak English, as an example, or like that you are automatically nicer or ruder when you speak a language that you're not as proficient in? Because that would also be very
Oh.
interesting.
Well, that wouldn't be language attitudes. With language attitudes, it's about how you perceive others,
Okay.
not necessarily about how you behave. So that wouldn't be language attitudes, and I don't know any like hard facts about that. I have heard from people that people tend to swear more in their second language than their first language.
Oh, yes.
But that's anecdotal, so I don't know if there's been any actual research into that.
That sounds about right.
Does
Yeah.
it?
Yeah,
Not
I
to me.
swear more in English than I swear in German.
Yeah, true.
I just
swear
swear a
more in
lot.
English.
Because if I'm gonna swear in Russian, my mama gonna beat my ass.
She said in English.
Yeah.
I mean, if I speak German, I even switch to swearing in English if I swear, because it's just so entrenched in like
I
the
think we
swearing part.
covered it with Angela when we talked, and Angela said it's like more. If you swear in German, it's perceived differently. It's more, harsh in a way, and it's more. I don't know, like socially, people don't like it, and they don't use it very often.
I also feel like in Germany or like in German, swearing, like in other languages, swearing can be part of a sentence to put emphasis on something way more than in German. I don't think it's that common in German, like, or at least not how I hear it usually.
I think it depends on the emphasis. I'm not going to jump into this with examples, but
Please do. Kate has to to beep every single word.
But we're not bleeping, right?
Why not? It would be fun though.
Yeah, you can do that.
think we already know how Leon feels about editing podcasts, so I'm just going to put
It's
that
not about
out there.
feeling; it's about being able to do it. I told the story to Kate yesterday. I tried to save a picture as a Word file.
Nice.
Did that work?
No,
Wow.
to describe how good I am with like Technic and like saving stuff and files and electronics. I'm so bad at this.
What were you trying to achieve?
I just wanted to save the picture, and it
Oh.
gave me the options of saving it. I was like, "Hey, there's Word. There's a
Wait.
Word file."
Recently, actually, Leon and we applied for giving courses to elderly people on electronics, and now I'm kind of doubting.
It's on the usage of phones. I can do that as long as we don't dive into social media.
I think elderly folks might want to know how to use social media. That might be one of the draws. So at that point, they have to refer to Kate, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just sending it over to Kate and take the check, and it's fine.
Just imagine grandmas wanting to use OnlyFans.
Thanks for that image.
And now right back to any other topic.
Kate, my grandma is dead.
Okay.
That's going
Imagine
to
a
infringe upon
different
her
one.
ability to use OnlyFans. Just got to put that out there.
It's just a nice
Hasn't stopped some people in America from voting, so I don't
Probably more countries than just America, but yeah, you're right. And thank you for that pivot into another direction. I'll take anything.
So American
literally anything.
American voting laws, right?
But if you're giving classes to seniors on social media, just tell them to not use emoji.
Okay.
It's really confusing when, I mean, my parents aren't elderly,
Yeah.
but they've started using emoji and I just don't understand what they're trying to say. Have you noticed that?
Like when they sent you the naughty emoji.
Yeah, like the winking emoji.
Yeah, and you just.
Or the like tongue sticking out winking emoji. It's like, Mum, what's going on?
So did you want me to buy peaches and eggplants? I'm confused.
Compiling the shopping list, honey. That's all.
Leon, tell me what you told me about your mom texting
No,
you.
I won't.
Oh, we just struck gold, but we're gonna.
No, I
miss
just
it.
said that like my parents also don't use any emojis, and it can seem like aggressive, which it's not, but it's like an email. It's very formal.
Oh my God, do they start with...
My
son.
grandmother does that, where it's like, "Dear Leon, LG grandmother" or something. It's just okay. I mean, I know what's meant. I know it's not meant in any bad way. It's just different.
It sounds like she's firing you from being a grandson, right?
No, not yet.
And we also talked about putting full stops
Oh,
at
yeah.
the end of the sentence.
I was going to say that.
And
I don't get
okay,
this.
now I have a
I
question
don't know.
to Jonas.
I mean, I feel like. Do you have a problem with people putting full stops at the end? of
Apparently.
No, I don't have a problem with that
Okay.
because I know you're old, and that's fine. And I know
Thin ice, Kate.
I-
Thin
and I-
ice.
And then I know with Leon, like I don't have a problem with Leon because I know inside of Leon is a 45-year-old man living, so I'm good with that. But now I have a question to Jonas. So,
Yes.
Jonas, do you perceive in a way that when people put full stops at the end of the sentence, considering their age, for example, my age, 25,
It's good that you clarified that because
yeah.
I didn't actually know.
Yeah, it's fine. Like, or our age, like mid-20s, going on 30.
Apparently, I'm 45.
Only on the
If
inside.
they put full stops, does it feel passive-aggressive?
No.
It feels actively aggressive, nearly. It feels.
Thank you.
It feels. Yeah, sure. Full stop. Or thanks. Full stop. It's
Are
like-
they spelling full stop? I mean, that's the only way
No,
I would
it's
take
just-
it as.
It's just putting a full. I
aggressive.
also don't get this.
Oh yeah, it definitely seems like it seems like I did something wrong, and I have a friend who's like a year or two older than me, and she does this all the time, and I haven't gotten used to it.
And this is what I want to do for my next paper. I swear I'm going to write paper on this. Like, how full stops are perceived and what is like the age, like quantitative analysis.
Oh,
like
yeah.
what is the
That
age?
sounds like a
That would be
bachelor
interesting.
yeah.
thesis at
That
this
that
point.
sounds like a
Oh,
pretty good
I was
thesis.
going to say it might be longer than a bachelor
Yeah.
thesis. This could go into masters for sure.
But I'm on Brian's side here. Like I use full stops all the time.
I'm not going to apologize for wanting complete sentences. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Sorry,
And also-
I think we have to clarify. Full stops within messages are fine.
Yeah.
It's just that you don't end it on a full
No,
stop.
why not? It's
Well, if it's a name
Grandma-
like Grandma is writing Leon LG Grandma full stop, that would be weird as all get out. But I mean,
I get when you write something
just the
in
last
caps
sentence that
lock, it's
shouldn't have the-
aggressive, right?
I just need to clarify. So there's just the last sentence that shouldn't have the full stop, and intersententially you can have the
Yeah.
full stop between sentences.
So
Because
if
the phone does it automatically most of the time. Like it puts the full stops.
See, mine doesn't.
No?
But that is still how I do it. I put
Yeah.
full stops if I have more than one sentence in a message. Yeah.
Exactly. But most of the time, if you just write one sentence, you never put a full stop.
Can I just press pause for a second and say, people are emotionally charged about a single punctuation
Yes.
mark
So how
in a message.
How
Hey,
I see
one
this,
of your questions was Oxford, yay or nay. So
That's fair. And not my question. I just roll with the the
Okay.
questions that were created, and I feel like that's fair enough.
the way I have
But this is literally just one punctuation mark for you could have an entire page worth of message. Pleasant, complimentary, but as soon as that full stop hits in the last sentence, people are losing their shit.
Yeah.
I think also it's important to see where the context is at
Sure.
the same time. And if there is like pleasant messages and everything else, and then also maybe, for example, if there are emojis involved and then there is a full stop at the end, then it's fine.
So as
But
someone who's
if, for example, you have as Jonas gave the example, yeah, sure, and then full stop, of course. And I'm sorry that I didn't let you talk, Leon.
He's been cut off at least 3 times now. It's
I'm
just
so I was in the flow talking, but yes, please. What do you want to say?
so the way I understood this is
full stop.
full stop, right? People send emojis after finishing a sentence, right? And in that instance, you don't use a full stop because you have the break between the last word and the emoji.
Okay.
But if you don't have an emoji, that's when I use a full stop just to clarify there's an end to the sentence, and it's grammatically correct.
But you're already signifying the end of the sentence by sending the message.
Yep.
Is that how this is being interpreted? So full stop unnecessary because I pressed the little arrow.
But also, if I
Maybe.
sent multiple sentences with like gaps in between, right? I would still put a full stop after every single one because that's how it is grammatically done. But I recently, without diving into any details, had a problem with that where someone got really annoyed by me using full stops and no emojis. I was like, "You're super aggressive," and it was clear that you were like angry. I was like, I was super nice. I was like, "I hope you're having a good time and everything is great." And it's like, "What do you want from me?"
It is fascinating. I think this is a fascinating phenomenon. And I think that we have similar phenomena in spoken language. Like there's the spoken exclamation mark, which I love. Like, God, duh. Like to get the at the end of something is an exclamation mark, but verbally.
But
I
you only
love
do that
it.
when you're 14 or something, right?
Oh, I see it all over the place. As soon as you're aware of a thing, like you see it everywhere. I see this everywhere.
Surely you hear it.
It depends on the drugs I'm taking on that day, but yeah, typically I hear it.
Unless you do a lot of IPA transcription, maybe.
They're smelling colors at the same time. I mean,
I can see voices.
So I think there are lots of these little phenomena that happen in language usage, that are fascinating. I mean, here we're just, like I said, I think it's funny that people get charged up about a single punctuation mark, but you're right, the Oxford comma does kind of fit in there, but for a different reason. To me, it's like, oh, we're being super pedantic, and don't you see that the and breaks up this list just as well as a comma could? If you don't see that, that's on you. So get used to it in my writing, and that's fair enough. But I see
You
the
ain't
same
from
thing.
Oxford, after all.
That's right. I ain't from no Oxford over here. Come on.
I hear someone breathing. Don't breathe in the microphone. Thank you.
We're getting so pedantic about everything at this point. Full stops.
No, breathing is going to be a
commas.
bitch in editing. I get it.
Yeah.
It's also going to be very difficult to continue talking if we're not breathing.
Well, she did say don't breathe into the microphone. That's a bit of a difference.
We should have just all started like coughing.
It's like if someone says don't breathe into my ear. You wouldn't, depending on if they have a full stop after it or not.
Or if they don't breathe into my ear.
God, imagine someone just sending you a text saying, hi, full stop.
Yeah. No. I know that there is something going on in there.
No,
like-
after hi, you write a comma.
if that's the entire message and you're
No,
ending
you write
it on a
hi,
comma, you're doing it wrong.
then you go to the next line, and then you continue writing. That's how
Fair
you
enough.
do it.
I think it's fascinating what a divide this creates. I love it.
I think a good example that I just came up with is the difference between a message that's just no or just no full stop.
Well, there's also an exclamation mark, which is, I think,
Oh yeah, yeah,
that's the
more-
next
It's a
level.
different message. Question mark will change the feeling as well.
It's like, hey, do you want to have some pizza? And it's no. It's, I'm not hungry. It's like, do you want to have some pizza? No.
Full stop. Yeah.
So you're telling me if I write no or no full stop, it changes the message
Yes.
completely.
And don't act stupid.
You're insane.
I love this conversation.
I'm not
everybody.
insane. I'm just young. No,
What am I
I
then?
am not young.
45.
I'm 45. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I've heard the expression "old at heart" before. No, old at heart, it's young at heart. So, Leon, you are an anomaly, and we love you.
I think old at heart is if you have like a really unhealthy diet.
Oh, so we're talking about my real
It
age.
checks
Okay.
out. You have joints that are like 48.
But no, it's actually a great example. Like, no and no.
Mm. Or the difference between okay spelled out okay, O and K,
Oh.
and just K.
My
and,
mother does that so much.
and I have a friend who sends me just the letter K. And he doesn't mean it to be passive aggressive and kind of, in a bad mood.
I know okay as okay in caps lock and then with an exclamation mark behind it. That's what I get. And that's
That sounds like the brand of water that you buy at the train station.
There
Isn't
was-
that okay exclamation point?
maybe, I don't know.
There was actually a trend at some point when people would send the K instead of,
Yeah.
And then at some point they even switched to, for funsies, they would send, instead of K, they would send potassium. Because it's
Nice.
like
Wow.
the
I'm too old for this.
the kali,
At heart.
I think.
Did they
in
send
the-
potassium with a full stop at the end or not?
No.
Exclamation mark.
And then you go back to expanding it to okay, and then it's oxygen, potassium, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is going to be a field trip on editing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
this is
yeah.
going to be its own episode. It's just going to be an outtake. The podcast on how to send text messages correctly.
no, that's. I think the topic is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. It's really interesting how people communicate and don't communicate with one another at the same time.
Every time this is a topic, I realize how much out of touch I am with people of my age and younger. Because maybe I got my phone way too late. I got mine with like 15, 16 or something. But I'm not used to this still. I
Yeah.
still type emojis sometimes. Like I don't.
Oh, as an emoticons.
Yeah, no, I do like use like the two. What is it? Not crosses. Or like I write. Yeah, the two.
I don't
Oh, like the
Carrot dailies.
Yeah. Or like I still type the emoticon like double
like the
dot
kawaii
and then
Yeah,
just-
type
yeah.
of thing. I don't know how
like
they're called.
colon
Yeah.
close parentheses. I do that too. I don't like using emoji. I prefer that.
And actually, in Russian, instead of making like a smiley out of colon and then the bracket.
End bracket. Right?
Yeah, they skip the entire bracket and they just put. Oh no, not the bracket. They skip the colon and they just put brackets at the end of the sentence, like 3 brackets.
No, that's not okay.
1 bracket.
That's grammatically
And it's
incorrect.
like if you put 5 or more, it's like you're laughing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that in some languages you don't write ha ha ha, but you use other ways
Yeah.
to.
Like
like-
Oh
in-
yeah, yeah, yeah,
like in
or
Portuguese.
just ages
In Portuguese, I think it's just K's.
or case. Yeah,
Brings us back to that.
yeah. that's-
Yeah, watch out how you laugh in Portuguese, and especially with Portuguese Americans. You know,
Careful
say
with
it.
short laughs then.
2 laughs, great. 4 laughs, great. 3.
in this case, 3 is not the magic number, so we're going to avoid it. Fair enough. All right, I think something that I kind of wanted to introduce here, since we have kind of covered the research interests, we've kind of covered classes that you've taught or that you teach. I wanted to allow you a moment, so flipping the script. Is there anything that you want to dig into, ask questions of your panel here?
How did this thing come about?
Oh, Leon, I think you have to field this question.
Again,
Do it.
just listen to the previous episode.
Fair enough.
He's
No,
a man.
so
The abridged version.
I don't know why I had this idea, but I had this idea, and I asked a couple of lecturers, Brian included, not the third option. One of the 3 people I asked, and 2 of them had different projects, so they didn't have time. One of them was Jessica. And Brian was like, yeah, we could still just do it. And I was like, sure. And we already had, like, he came up with a name. And we just, at some point, were like, okay, it's COVID. We don't have anything better to do. So we just started. And we started with Jessica and a couple of other lecturers and just some people. And then there was a hiatus, and now we're here. More or less.
Fair enough.
That's the abridged version.
Yes, very abridged.
So it's a COVID boredom thing.
Sure. I think that's a fair take.
I mean, maybe not
Yes.
boredom, but COVID. We have time for great things.
Yeah, we have
like,
time
fun
for it, but
things
we
now.
were we were like both just interested in like podcasts and recording and listening to them as well. And was like, hey, why not try to talk about things that are related to academia, especially our university, and that students might want to know or need to know, so they have a source for this information.
Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of the overarching message or reason that I continue. It's like I really think we don't have a whole lot of places for students to get information about lectures.
Yep.
And, you know, for a first semester student coming in, what do they know about the person's name that's on the list, you know, of their courses in the EKVV, and, oh, I've got to take this or that course. And they have absolutely no idea who's going to be in front of them for the next 14 weeks or so. And so this would be at least one way to kind of introduce folks.
Fair enough.
I just kind of slipped into this thing, so yeah. And I'm paid for it.
Yeah, usually it's the other way around, where you pay for being here. And you're getting.
Wait, what?
Hey,
Oh, don't worry, the bill's in the mail.
It's just directly deducted from my paycheck.
Exactly, right along that line where the pension is. You know, they're gonna have
And
the
it's not tax
AA.
deductible.
We get a
so-
pension?
More or less.
Well, less.
Yeah, you have to live that long first. So, I mean, let's not worry about
More
it
or less
until that
than
day
more.
comes.
yeah, I just love how Brian is obviously an employee of the university, and Kate also know, and I'm just not. I'm just here.
You're an employee of the heart.
Great. Can you buy me some bread?
I was going to say, what diet is that one related to?
Oh, there you go. I think that's why he's 45
Yeah.
inside.
Toss a coin to your Leon.
Yeah.
There you go. So the GoFundMe for Leon will be starting. We'll put that link up there in the show notes.
Become a patron.
That's right. Subscribe to Leon's Patreon and we'll get him some, I don't know, bread. Anyway, so any other questions you wanted to ask?
I don't think so.
Okay. In that case, folks, I just want to say, Jonas, thank you again for sharing your time with us. We really appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely.
Sorry for all the awful things I said.
We all did.
Yes, don't worry. That will be a line item list in the bill that you receive. All the editing that Kate has to do around all of the awful things that were said. I'm sure she's happy to put together that list too, because after all, she is getting paid. All right. Anyway, folks, that's a Listen Assemble checking out here for today. And we'll just say Excelsior, and until the next time, take care.
Give you a try. If you do well, you can go a long way. But if you fail,
The producers pledge that they will produce
you
only
can go a long way
works
too.
which will contribute to your musical enjoyment and successfully meet your high-quality standards.
This episode of Anglisten Assemble was privately produced as a joint non-profit informational project of students and staff at the beautiful Bielefeld University. All views and opinions expressed on the show in no way reflect the official views of the university and are solely the perspectives of our hosts and guests. Information provided is true to the best of our knowledge at the time of production, but this is naturally subject to change as some details are time sensitive. Anglisten Assemble is produced and edited by Kate Lee, Leon Dalashel, and Brian Rosema for the private use of our quality audience. If you want to get updates and further info about Anglisten Assemble, check out our Insta at anglistan.assemble. And if you're enjoying what you hear, throw us a 5-star review on Spotify. Those help us spread the word and get more Anglistan to join the assembly. Musical accompaniment today includes the sonic stylings of music from allesgimafrei.de. And finally, we'd like to thank our special guest today, the youthfully yogic Jonas Wagner.